These are facts about celebrities that you didn't know. Michael Jackson's chimpanzee Bubbles is still alive at 40 years old and is living in Florida. Bill Nye quit his job at Boeing to become a stand-up comic after winning a Steve Martin lookalike contest in 1978. Weird Al turned down a $5 million beer endorsement deal because he thought it was wrong considering how many of his fans were young and impressionable. Madonna's biggest career regret was turning down a role in The Matrix. After getting divorced, Giancarlo Esposito had to declare bankruptcy and considered suicide by contract killing to provide insurance money for his children before being cast as Gus Fring on Breaking Bad. Arnold Schwarzenegger's salary for Terminator 2 was paid mostly by purchasing him a $12.75 million Gulfstream jet. William Shatner and fellow Star Trek star DeForest Kelley did not speak for nearly 2 years after Shatner laughed at Kelly's story about his chihuahua, Emily, running into a sprinkler head and abruptly dying in 1949. In 2001, a 13-year-old Boy Scout went missing for over 18 hours in Yellowstone and was rescued by Harrison Ford after using his belt buckle to signal to planes overhead. Muhammad Ali's star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame is on a wall instead of on the ground because he did not want people stepping on his name. Due to Woody Harrelson's raw vegan lifestyle, the Twinkies in the movie Zombieland were replaced with fake vegan Twinkies made from cornmeal. Robin Williams used to trash talk teenagers on Call of Duty. Anthony Hopkins searched all of London for the book The Girl from Petrovka, but couldn't find it, only to discover the author's original copy that was left on a bench, which had been stolen and dumped by a thief. Pope Francis has not watched TV since 1990 after making a pledge to the Virgin Mary, which has kept him from watching his favorite soccer team, Buenos Aires-based San Lorenzo. A member of the Swiss Guard tells him the scores and keeps him up to date on the standings. In 2020, Eminem was awakened by a man breaking into his kitchen with a brick paver, claiming he was there to kill him. Eminem managed to get him to leave the house and into custody, after which the man was sentenced to 524 days of time and 5 years probation. Walt Disney came up with the modern ski trail designations: green circle, blue square, black diamond. Before Walt Disney passed away of lung cancer in 1966, the last words that he ever wrote were Kurt Russell on a piece of paper. Before becoming an Academy Award-winning actor, Christopher Walken worked as a circus owner's apprentice and performed as a lion tamer alongside a lioness named Sheba. Kirstie Alley decided to not reprise her role as Rebecca on any episode of the Cheers spin-off Frasier due to her commitment to Scientology, which conflicted with the series focusing on medical psychiatry. The Twilight Zone's Rod Serling tested parachutes part-time, earning money based on the danger of the jump, including $1,000 for testing a jet ejection seat that had killed 3 previous testers. When Steve Jobs was 13, he was given a summer job by Bill Hewlett of Hewlett-Packard after Jobs cold called him to ask for parts for an electronics project. Steve Jobs frequently ate at a restaurant owned by his biological father without either of them knowing their true relationship. Steve Jobs had a tendency to eat only 1 or 2 foods like carrots or apples for weeks at a time. Napoleon exhibited next to no signs of PTSD despite being constantly engaged in warfare for 2 decades. O.J. Simpson's 1-year-old daughter, Erin Simpson, drowned in 1979. Former NFL player James Brooks was found to be illiterate when he couldn't read court documents, admitting to not paying over $100,000 in child support. When the judge asked how he graduated from Auburn without being able to read, he said, "I didn't have to go to class." John Quincy Adams, who served as the President of the United States from 1825 to 1829, was then elected to the House of Representatives and served from 1830 to 1848, only driven by his loathing of Andrew Jackson, hatred of slavery, and boredom after his presidential term ended. In 2022, James Earl Jones retired from voicing Darth Vader, but permitted Lucasfilm to use archive recordings and AI to continue using his voice for the character into the future. Charlize Theron's mother shot and killed her father in self-defense in front of her, and Charlize would later go on to be the first person born in Africa to win an Oscar for acting. Matthew McConaughey meticulously prepared for his role as Rustin in True Detective Season 1 by writing a 450-page analysis titled 4 Stages of Rustin. Drummer Cozy Powell died in a fatal car crash while traveling 104 miles per hour in the rain, drunk, and talking on his phone with a woman who was cheating on her husband with him. He had no seatbelt, a leaking tire, and was still recovering from a recent motorcycle accident. Andy Dick has been to rehab over 20 times. In the 1990s, Michael Michael Jackson wanted to play Spider-Man, but no deal was made. Robert Ripley from Ripley's Believe It or Not became the New York State handball champion in the 1920s. When Dr. Dre survived 3 strokes over a 2-week period after being hospitalized for a brain aneurysm in 2021, it led to Eminem and Snoop Dogg ending their feud with each other because it helped them realize that it was stupid as hell for them to be feuding right now, so they talked it out. Chloe Bennett changed her name from Chloe Wang to avoid being typecast as only an ethnic Asian American, with Bennett being her father's first name. Dave Grohl is not proficient in reading music and instead relies on oral skills to perform. In 2012, LL Cool J broke the nose, jaw, and ribs of a man who broke into his home while his family was sleeping, prompting him to take action and hold the intruder until authorities arrived. Alicia Witt's parents were found frozen to death in their Massachusetts home in 2021 after repeatedly refusing help on home repairs. John F. Kennedy survived 4 assassination attempts before he was inevitably assassinated. Jim Carrey won back-to-back acting Golden Globe Awards for The Truman Show and Man on the Moon, but has never been nominated for an Oscar. Blake Lively agreed to join Gossip Girl only after being promised she could attend college part-time, but later learned the importance of getting promises in writing. Raza von Werder popularized female bodybuilding and competed alongside Arnold in best body competitions, worked as a stripper and a minister, and later created her own church. In 2008, she ended 30 years of religious celibacy because God told her to become a cougar. Kevin Costner turned down starring in Air Force One in order to star in The Postman, a film which he also directed. Air Force One was a critical commercial success, while The Postman was a box office bomb, resulting in Costner winning 2 Razzle Awards for Worst Actor and Director. Andy Warhol was a devout Catholic who attended Mass every Sunday, regularly volunteered at soup kitchens, and converted at least one person. Some of the last words of Wayne McLaren, better known as the Marlboro Man, before he lost his battle with lung cancer were, "Take care of the children. Tobacco will kill you, and I am living proof of it."